serving as Division A Director. She is working on the Advanced Communication Manual, Humorously Speaking. Today, she presents project number 5, the humorous speech entitled Crime and Punishment. Help me welcome Tatiana Margalina.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests. It's so good to see so many new faces. In a country far, far away, which exists no more, in the olden days, when the trees were high, dreams were big, and I was very young, I decided to get an associate degree in professional diving. And the reason for this was that I was hoping that with time it would help me to become an oceanographer sometime in the future. And it wasn't easy for a girl in the country far, far away, which exists no more. It turned out that having my application turned in was a challenge by itself. They tried to talk girls out of it, actually scare them off with tales, lies, and horror stories. But even in the olden days, when the trees were high and dreams were big, I was even more stubborn than I am right now. And hearing a no was always the biggest motivator to continue. So I got accepted into the program, and I got 2 warnings. The first one was there would be no men, no women, just divers. And the second one, they told me, you will fail soon. Have you seen this movie, G.I. Jane? With Demi Moore, who was playing the girl who was firstly accepted in the SEAL training program? Harsh. It could have become a very harsh boot camp experience in that country far, far away, which exists no more. But luckily for me, I'm not a Demi Moore. I'm more a Whoopi Goldberg. And then you can this guy. So that potential experience turned out to be a circus. And I'm about to reveal one secret to you. You actually know a lot of things about me. But there is one thing I had been kept secret for all those years, since 2012. Well kept secret, a very dark one. You see, even in those old days, when the trees were high, the dreams were big, and I was really skinny, I had positive buoyancy. I really mean it. Not that positive buoyancy any beginner diver is afraid of when he or she would behave as a yo-yo in the water. Mine was enormous. I was a breaching whale when I tried to dive. There was one other thing. You see these people who warn me about man, no woman thing? They actually told me the truth. There are no men, no women. There were several scared girls and 30 teenage boys who loved practical jokes and had no mercy. It didn't upset me too much because I had other things to worry about. I had exercises, I had tests to pass. In each test was this fear that this is the one when I fail. But I managed to crawl through the program to the point which I knew would be my triumph. I knew I would be the queen of that test, the queen of that exercise, rescuing a drowned person. I could surface with 1 person, with 10 person, with weight, with anything, no problem at all, no matter how big their total negativity was. So here's what this exercise was about. It all happened in a very big pool, very, very big. It was very, 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 very deep and very dark. The visibility was like this. I couldn't see my hand. I was supposed to dive in, found the person on the bottom, pull him up, check the direction, put my head back into the water, and then transport him to the opposite edge of the pool. I did dive. I found him. We surfaced together. I checked the direction, and I started moving. And just when, by my calculations, I was supposed to hit the opposite edge of the pool, we got stuck. I mean, he wouldn't move. And if he doesn't move, I also don't move. I didn't panic. That's what I learned. Never panic. Find the cause, remove the cause, and succeed. So I made some calculations in my head, and I realized that probably what's happened, that I deferred from my course and got to the right edge of the pool where there was a ladder. And I understood that the scuba belt got stuck in that ladder. So all I needed to do is just retreat a bit back to free the belt and go forward. That's what I did. Once, no success. Twice, no luck. 3 times. I stopped counting after number 10. I realized this was my failure. So I gave up and I surfaced. What was happening in the pool actually attracted a lot of spectators. Actually, everybody were watching. Because you see, my body in distress, and I had arrived to the opposite edge of the pool some time ago. Actually, his head has arrived 10 times. Actually, even more, because I stopped counting. And no one in that room, stopped me, I'm sorry. Even the head owner didn't stop me. Why? He played a practical joke on me the day before by pulling me out of the pool and then throwing me back into it. So he thought it was a fair retribution on my part. Men, girls, do you remember? I'm sure Arnie remembers. He gave a speech to us. How confusing our words can be when men hear them. My lesson, you don't have to say a word to get them confused.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And Tatiana, where are you sitting? Oh, you're over there. Okay. Anyway, great job. You had quite an assignment here today, really. She's been working on this humorous speaking manual, which is not an easy manual, and she was in the final speech. And the purpose of this project is for the speaker to present a 5 to 7 minute humorous speech. The speech's primary purpose is to entertain, while the secondary purpose is to make a point. The speech should be based on one theme or subject, with all humorous stories and or jokes related to the subject. The humor should come from exaggeration, plus you should do everything else right that you learn in Toastmasters anyway. So a little bit of a challenge for this particular speech, and Tatiana certainly met it very well by the thematic approach that she used as her experience in taking diving lessons and learning to be a diver. Certainly we were entertained, and at the end we heard a point, and her point at the end was that you don't have to say a word to confuse people. And I'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later. But first of all, I loved your opening. You started off, once upon a time, in a way, that you didn't say once upon a time, but that's the kind of opening it was. Once upon a time, there was a girl far, far away in a country which no longer exists, and you repeated that 3 times, and we know you well enough to know what you're speaking of, and appreciate the fact that you could bring this in, given your background, and make it funny and have us chuckle along with you. So I thought that was very, very well done. And the fact that you did use it 2 or 3 times made it even stronger by using it. I loved your gestures. You were all over the floor up here giving different examples of what you were doing. And that's really what the speech called for, was to be able to do that. And we enjoyed what you did. Your vocal variety off the charts. I mean, everything as far as the fundamental Toastmasters things we learned, you did all very well. You were very innovative on the manual. Of course, it happened that you accidentally left your manual back in your office, but you were innovative enough to go into our little drawer there and find the club version of the same manual, which I didn't even know we had one, but we did, and so I'm able to use that to evaluate you. And I think that the audience was entertained. The speech was humorous because all the stories that you brought into it revolved around the story that you were telling, your theme, and we could laugh with you rather than at you. And as far as how the jokes or stories fit the theme of the speech, they all did, and they weren't jokes really, they were stories, and we all were entertained by those stories. The one suggestion I would have is all along as you move through this speech, is I thought that your point was to never give up when other people are trying to get you to give up. I thought that was your theme or your point, but it wasn't. It was a different point at the end, and you didn't spend a lot of time on that point at the end. So I guess if you're going to make a point, stretch it out a little more during the speech so that we were driven towards your point, because I wasn't. Maybe the others were. But all in all, I thought this was an outstanding speech. And during the course of the time that you've gone through this manual, we've learned more about you than we have in the other several years we've been here. So thank you, and we look forward to the next one. Madam President.